Everybody to the Pat Flynn Show. We are here live once again, soon to be joined by Dan John, but not yet. I wanted to start the stream a little bit early because there is so much going on recently that I just felt I needed there he is. You know what? Dan's already here. Dan.
Hey, am I too early? I'll back out. Sorry.
You zipped right into the stream. So that was really fast. We're already live. So good morning to you and welcome.
Wait, am I late?
No, you're super early. I started this early because I was just going to do some dull preliminaries, and then you're like, bam, right here already. So this is even better. I know you're across the pond, so it's probably what time is it where you are?
It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome. I hope you don't mind we talk about the Goblet Squat today because I ventured that for the subject. Are we good with that? I figured you've probably been teaching that a lot the past couple of weeks. Is that correct?
I can't believe how much you get to the point where you've taught it and yeah.
Are you sick of talking about it? We could totally just change. Oh, okay. Good.
9999999. No.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. I got to do one quick thing. I turned this on just to make sure I could do a little favor for somebody. And now, are we live? Are people listening?
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We're a little bit early today, but that's all right. We will be doing our usual Q&A. So if people have any questions, they're welcome to submit that. But Dan, I actually we don't have to pull it up right now, but I have a couple of videos of the Goblet Squat too, if we want to have people just take a look at the technique. But give us the update. You've been doing a number of workshops. You've been doing a lot of teaching. You are still in England, so yeah. How's the past?
I'm out here in England, and I'm just hang on. I'm just fixing a few, and it's been wonderful, except for one or two annoying things like. This whole COVID thing, the money, they're just bleeding me dry, and they're just bleeding me dry financially. I'm honestly just, every time I do something, it's like, oh, this is another, $200 for the COVID test, $300 for this, and I'm supposed to come right back here. I think I've lost you. Where are you?
I'm here. We've got you. Yep.
They just bleed me dry. Just bleed me dry, my friend.
Well, you know what? We're gonna fix that because we're gonna send people right over to Dan John University, and if you want to just transfer monetary units to Dan John's wallet, that would be super appreciated. So thank you all.
Yeah, I mean, so I just found out today. I guess must have really misunderstood. I thought I had a Saturday Sunday workshop coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double blaster on Saturday, so. That means Sunday, but I did get some good. I got some good news. I'll be here. I'll be here at the Alexander Pope for a couple more nights. I don't have to go anywhere else, which is really nice for me. That sometimes changing a hotel room. This will be just 2 hotel rooms the whole trip, which is just, which is great. I mean,
not
it's
too
just
bad.
Easier, pack up, unpack, pack up. It can and now I'm kind of looking around. I was like, okay, no problem. That's not coming. This comes. Yeah, it's good.
So how's your training been? Have you been getting in?
Last Friday I competed in the meet, and I had severe digestive issues all week. It wasn't throwing up, but it was the other direction, and I
no,
4 and 5 times every night, 6 times I woke up one night, and so I was struggling with sleep.
Yeah, not what you want to happen before you go clean and lift a bunch of weight. Yeah,
I wasn't going to lift, but I did, and the lifts weren't great, and I was weak as a kitten.
Mm-hmm.
I really struggled. It was funny because Monday after I felt better, I went in and it was like the weights were flying off the floor, and it was like, oh, maybe, and then it was like, well, there you go,
it goes to show when it comes to performance and athletics, obviously preparation accounts for so much of it, but there's so many contingent factors always at play, right? Including horrific stomach bugs, how you sleep a particular night. So, always things that are just, beyond your control. And
with one of the people over at St. Mary's for about 3 hours, and I finally have my ready to travel COVID test planned for Friday. And it's just like, I can't believe it took that long. It's like, here, take my money. Take my money. Mm-hmm. I'll double the amount just so I can get what you want done, so I can go home. You know.
Right.
And,
when does Dan John get home? By the way,
I get home Monday.
Okay, good. So you'll be back in the States before our next conversation.
Yeah, next time we talk, I'll be in the office. I'm sure it'll be a mad scramble the last 5 minutes or so.
Yep.
When I have to replug everything else and not have adapters on everything.
Well, hey, no worries, Dan. We always appreciate you making the time, even when traveling. So, hey, you invented the Goblet Squat. Can we get the record? Can we get the record straight on this? Because I think some people might think that you're maybe sometimes being a little bit sarcastic.
No.
All right? So we're gonna talk about the Goblet Squat here. I want to talk about why it's an amazing exercise. I have come to appreciate it. I mean, I've always liked the Goblet Squat, but I think I've come to appreciate it just more and more over the years because it's so versatile and it's so useful, especially just for keeping the hips and the knees healthy. Which for somebody like me who actually as much as I take fitness seriously, I just sit a lot. I do because I do a lot at the computer. So having the Goblet Squat for me is just so. If nothing else, it's therapeutic. So let's go back. Let's go back to the history, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Make 2 notes. One, I want to talk about the squat as a daily movement, and then the other thing I want to come back is a new quadrant I'm working on. Okay. Do you mind? Can you make notes?
Squat as a daily movement and new quadrant. You got it.
Okay. History of the Goblet Squat. So, I started coaching. Well, actually, really, I mean, if I was the neighborhood strength guy, so I taught a lot of people how to lift weights, and I'm sure they got very sore because I wasn't very good. When I first started coaching at the university level in 1979, I had 2 freshmen, Mark Carter and Brett Mickelson, and it was my job to teach them the Olympic lifts and squatting. And, when you're one-on-one with elite athletes, squatting comes fairly quickly. You can do all that stuff. You can just load them up. They had some high school habits that was easy to fix. And so I got kind of cocky because I just felt that all you need to do was, slap weights on the squat racks and, pat yourself on the back. And then when I first started working as, the volunteer strength coach at Judge Memorial, we had kids squat. We did it for mass building. And very often the kids, I did a lot of hard spotting with them, where you stand behind and you guide them through and you grease the group. And that worked well. And then through my years, I got coaching at the Upper Limit Gym, we had a whole squat system that was very much a power lifty kind of thing.
Sure.
Very power lifty. And it was fine, we would do box squats and then we would go from box squats to deep squats. And, it was not bad. And then of course, I started working with much different populations. And now we're sneaking around 1998 or so. And what I was using at the time, and I still think there's value in it. If you read my first online articles, which, by the way, are lost forever. They're not archived. They're gone. I think anything before 2002 online is gone. My first, whatever you want to call it, website, blog, whatever, it's gone. Everything's gone.
Isn't there like a Wayback Machine or something like that?
Yeah, the Wayback Machine, but you can't get anything before 2002.
Oh, dang. What a tragedy.
In there, but not, like I had a place that I can't even tell you the address. Gosh, it was this massive address. It had to have been the wrong way. It had to have been like, instead of danjohn.net, it was like, www:// geocities.com/fitness/Dan-John/weightlifting/com, and if you missed one thing, you couldn't find it. And it was a fun site. And I really wish I'd have kept a lot of it because I'd figured out early when I learned how to hyperlink things. So I had a workout where it had a GIF, and the right way to say the word is GIF, but I know the young people say GIF, GIF. And I would have a GIF of someone snatching, and they would snatch. And then, so on the snatch exercise, I had a GIF of someone snatching, and then a hyperlink to how I taught the snatch. Mm-hmm. And then the workout was 8 sets of 2. And then the next was a guy clean and jerking, forever. Hard worker, baby, hard worker. Mm-hmm. And 8 sets of 1. And then I had front squat, but I couldn't find a GIF for that. So I got the 3 pictures, the 3 front squat pictures from the clean and jerk, and I had 1, 2, 3, and 5 sets of 2. And then I'd have on the word snatch. It was a hyperlink to how I teach the snatch.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then it would take you back, because that's a lesson I had to learn. That took me a couple months to figure out, that I had to have links back. I didn't know that. It was wonderful. And I started teaching very quickly. You can still see it on in Contrarian Approach to the Discus Throw, which is free. Boy, I might not even mention the Goblet Squat in the Contrarian book, but I was using it. So the first thing you got to do when you squat is have your muscle beat your upper body. And then I had the doorknob drill where you grab the doorknob, and now we would use suspension trainers. The TRX.
Yeah.
So we used doorknobs back because that's all we had. And then you would squat between your legs, not accordion squat, but squat between your legs. And that's how I did it. And then I realized that there was the problem I was having is a transition between the doorknob squat
What about this drill here, Dan? Remember this one?
Oh, hang on. I'm getting there. Trust me. I'm getting there. And then, so when I would go from, that first thing, Mr. Universe, doorknob drill,
yep.
And then I'd say, okay, now front squat. And what I didn't have was a regression. And so the first regression was the one you just showed there, the potato sack squat, where you held the load underneath you. And the potato sack squat, by the way, is probably still the best start in the whole thing, okay? If I could do it all again, I would have done bear hug carry squats. So pick up a 100-pound wrestling bag, walk with it, and then I would say squat, and you'd stop and squat. That might be better. Right. The problem with the potato sack squat, as you can see, even this one, Pat, with your great mobility, you're getting close to breaking your fingers on the ground.
Yeah, which I find is like, it can be helpful or it can be painful, right? So if you're not careful, you'll smash your fingers, but at the same time, it makes you control through the goblet squat, right? Like I want to move very deliberately when I'm holding the kettlebell like this. So people who are just listening and you can't see the stream, I have a video pulled up that I'll link in the show notes. This is just on my YouTube channel, and I'm working through the potato sack drill. Dan, can you just describe what you want people to do? Now, here as I let the video play. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the kettlebell has horns, handle, and a bell. The potato sack squat is holding the bell underneath, and you're sliding your forearms and your elbows into your upper thighs, the inner upper thighs. Now, there was and dang it, by saying that, I just dropped that in my head. Hold on. Oh, yeah. What was wrong with the early kettlebell community is that they were teaching this thing called the kettlebell deadlift, but really it was just a narrow squat. It wasn't a hinge. It was a squat pattern. Mm-hmm. And so doing the kettlebell deadlift squatty style is actually a nice little remedial exercise. Nothing wrong with it at all, except it's not a squatty thing. And then I was playing around, and I was playing with the horns. The potato sack squat was good. The doorknob squat was good. And then I was realizing that people they were afraid to go deep. And then I realized that skin-on-skin contact always helps people be comfortable. When I teach the windmill, we do skin-on-skin contact. When I do the bent press, we make an A with the elbow and the hand and get them in that position for a long time. And if they feel like going to the bent press, good for you, or not. And then you just bring the arm down and whatever. Yeah, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. And then I grabbed the horns, and this is it right here. And I pushed my right knee out with my right elbow, my left knee out, with my left elbow, and I sat down. That kettlebell was in a great counterbalance position. And I kind of rolled my hips around. It was like, my God.
The world was changed forever on that day, right?
And my middle name is Arthur. And as everyone knows, I love The Sword and the Stone, the book by T.H. White, not the nonsense they've done with it since. And originally I was going to call it the Holy Grail squat, but that's even too dorky for me. You're holding the bell there. But I decided after about 1 or 2 times I taught it, I went from Holy Grail to Goblet. I mean, it went like that from Holy Grail to Goblet. I don't even remember transitioning. I don't remember transitioning, but there you go. And the reason people hold the bell that way, which is wrong.
This is wrong. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is because one of my interns also enjoyed a lot of herbal relaxations supplements that really help. And when he went to go train with the guys over at Jim Jones, he showed Mark Twight this exercise, and he screwed up how to hold it. Mark Twight posted that in the old Jim Jones site, Dan John's Goblet Squat, and everyone started holding the bell like that, saying it's a crush squat or something like that. But no, I don't want you crushing the bell when you goblet squat, because that's going to take your. I want you to teach yourself the movement now. So now the progression I use, which every student at St. Mary's this week could probably teach, though they're exhausted and they probably forget everything today.
Mm-hmm.
But goblets. So you start up with the goblet squat. You squat down. You push your knees out with your elbows. You curl the bell to the ground. You pick up a stick with a wide grip. You put it over your head. You stand up. You squat down. You put the stick to the ground. You curl the kettlebell up. You stand up. You sit down, and that's how we transition to the overhead squat.
Oh, that's a cool progression. Do you have a video of that?
Oh yeah, all over YouTube. Why don't you? Do you want to search, or do you want? Yeah, I have 2 of them on YouTube. Yeah.
We'll find it. So you goblet squat down. You put the kettlebell down in the bottom. Let's make sure I'm getting this right.
All right, let's.
You then pick. I can pull it up on the stream here if you get me a link to it. So
I'm doing it right,
just so people get the visual aid. But for people who are just listening,
cigarettes and your.
Then it's overhead with the stick, back down. Right. So you're transitioning at the bottom. Is that right?
Hang on. Hang on.
Hang
Oh,
on.
look at this. Look at this. Two videos come up instantly.
For lunch today, I'm having Huel's
Oh,
hot and
you
savory.
can tell I'm
They
not
come
in
in 3
Utah
different
anymore.
flavors.
And where do I post it? I post it on private chat, right?
Put it in the private chat, and I'll bring it up into the stream here, so
There
you can
you
take
go.
a peek at this. Awesome.
You're welcome.
Right. All right. Give me just 1 second, and just describe it one more time for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You put a stick in front of your toes, basically, and you grab your kettlebell.
Kettle.
I might be. Do you want to watch him explain it?
All right. I'm just gonna let it
By the
play,
way,
and then.
this is an older one from winter. Okay, go.
All right. Here we go. So it's gonna play here, and Dan's gonna tell us what we're seeing.
Volume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How do I get the volume? Let me do it. All right. 1 sec. Sorry, gentle listeners. I'm still new at this technology thing. Hold on. I think I got to pull it off and then bring it back on. Yeah, because now I have to click share audio. See, I can figure things out. All right.
Hi, gentle listeners.
Let's try it now.
Hi, John, here from
Can we hear that?
University.com and Dan. We have a question that's a common question. I get it a lot. I've shown this drill before with Jeff Hemingway. I think I did it myself. How do you build up the overhead squat? Well, the second thing I teach is the overhead squat. Number 1, I teach the goblet squat. But the progression is pretty simple. It's simple. Yeah, it's simple. But it's kind of elegant when you do it. So let's look at what we do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a light load, and I'm going to drop. Okay, so I'm going to drop to the bottom, push my knees out, relax. I'm going to work my guns, so I'm going to curl it down. When I curl it down, I pick up either a stick, a pipe, or even a barbell, put it over my head, stand up. Back down, stick down, curl the bell up to get my pythons pythonating, stand up, down, curl, stick, up, down, curl, up, down, curl, and then up. And that's how I teach the overhead squat to literally a room full of people. It's simple and it's subtle, and most people discover their issues with the weight overhead isn't shoulder mobility, it's the mobility in this area, and that drill really opens it up.
That is really cool. I can't believe I haven't seen that one yet before, Dan.
Hey, small issue. I am 17 kilos lighter than that film.
Nice. Probably makes the drill a little bit easier then.
Well, yeah. My biggest concern.
Moving really well though, man. Was this was how old was that video? Was that pre or post hip?
No. That's just that's okay. There's a couple things you need to know, gentle listener. First, I have new garage doors, and they look lovely. You're welcome. And we just got them installed yesterday, and they're insulated, and I'm very excited about it. Two, I don't think I'll be able to wear those pants anymore. They were coming off me in that video, and I maybe I should just wear a thong and do my overhead squat videos and just let that pop out. So, and then after you learn the overhead squat with me, and by the way, it doesn't matter if you're 90 or 9, if you can master the goblet and the overhead squat, good for you. Then we move to the front squat, and then after the front squat, we move to the back squat.
That drill. Do you have a name for that drill, by the way? Is there
the overhead squat drill? I mean,
the overhead squat. What an awesome just daily warm up that would be. Just relatively light on the goblet squat. Boom, boom. Just spend a couple minutes with that. I mean, would you have any problems left in life after that?
Well, and then if you went and worked your glutes and you worked on your press, you might be done.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed. I've never seen that video before, Dan. Thanks for bringing that one in. That was sweet. All right, so we've kind of talked through the various progressions. People can go see more of the many tutorials and videos we both have on our YouTube channel. Let's talk practical application. What do you think? Let's talk killer apps. What is a goblet squat good for? How do you like to program it? Let's just give some.
That's going to lead to that second point
to the new quadrant. Yes.
But. So I think a lot of people misunderstand the goblet squat. Like I'll go online, and so the overriding reason you do the goblet squat is because you should do the movement of squatting every day. So it is a daily check-in. It's a daily assessment. I would say it's a daily tonic. The word tonic comes from the same root as tune, like you tune the violin, you tune your guitar. Mm-hmm. I think every day you should have a little. So you have an assessment, a daily check-in. And then a little minor tune-up. I mean, if you think of yourself as a high-end race car, high-end race cars get a little tune every day. Mm-hmm. I didn't say you need to go through and re-wash every nut on you, but a little check-in. Right. So that would be the first and most important level. 2, it's great as a friend. It's a great companion to the swing and the push-up. Mm-hmm. It's the swing and the push-up's best friend. It is the Curly of Shemp and Mo. It is the D'Artagnan. It is the Porthos to the Athos to the other one, Artemis, the Three Musketeers, right? Those three they're very good friends, and they always will be.
Swing, goblet squat, push-up, best of friends.
I honestly. If you did swing, goblet squat, push up, but you did it in the field, so you have the suitcase carry it all the way out and suitcase carry it all the way back, all your dreams would come true.
Everyone.
Yes. Actually, gentle listener, what I just said is pretty good, and pretty good is the best, highest I can give.
Right. So, I finally started getting back into jiu-jitsu. I've been out of martial arts for about 2 years since I moved to Wisconsin. I was rolling around with one of the guys, much higher level than me, much better player, but he had a hard time with me, and I did not get submitted. And he just kept saying, "Wow, you are really, really bendy." And the fact is I am. And a large part of that comes from just the amount of goblet squats I do, right? It just keeps my hips. All that it allows me to stay very Gumby-like and feel good in positions that I think a lot of other people wouldn't feel good, or at least I feel okay. Like I can stay in this position rather than screaming or submitting or something like that. So it was just fun to see just recently, like an immediate application where I could say, I'm glad I've been doing so many goblet squats, because otherwise I'd probably be in a lot of pain right now. Right.
So let's go through it. So I said it was a good daily assessment. It's a good tonic. 3, it can be used in a workout. And then number 4, there's a test I like a lot. In fact, my student Andy had to do it today, and my other students will all be doing it tomorrow.
Right on.
I only have them do the 3-minute test, but today, but this test is the 6-minute test, and it goes like this. For a male, you take 24 kilos, female 16 or 12 as appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you get your bell and you set a timer, and when the clock starts at noon, at the sweep hand is at 12, you do a goblet squat and then sit at the bottom for 30 seconds.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
At the 30-second mark, you stand up, sit down.
Mm-hmm.
At 12, stand up, sit down. And he did half of it today, which is the 3-minute test. But my standard is the 6-minute test. That's what I'd like you to see. Once you've done the 6-minute, I don't have any idea. What is that, about 12, 13, probably 12, 13, maybe even 14. I've never counted it. Goblet squats, but that's not what's important. The idea is that you're sitting at the bottom, your anaconda strength's been turned on for a total of 6 minutes. You have to reignite your goblet squat every 30 seconds. You have to, it's testing it does test your biceps, I'll tell you that. It tests your traps and your rhomboids. And once you've done the 6-minute test, I have no issues with you saying that the goblet squat is a warm-up tool. And or if you hit a certain age, good for me. And I'm going to go back to using it as a workout tool. But if you're a off-season athlete, that would tell me that, the goblet squat has served its purpose outside of warm-up and tonic, and it's time to front squat, 5 sets of 2. It's, and make things work.
Right. So what are some of your other favorites for the gentle listener? They're busy. They like the idea of swings, goblet squats, and push-ups. What are some of your favorite go-to time crunch goblet squat routines?
Oh, honey, you know this.
Well, I know it, but
okay,
30 for 30, of course, is one of them, right?
Well, my students the other day did it, and I tell you one thing, my student Craig at night it was strange because I had plenty in me, but I was getting tapped out. I was plenty fine, but I was really tired, and it was funny because it was like I was fine. It was killing me. I was fine. It was killing. It was kind of a fun little thing to listen to and talk to. It would be the humane burpee. 15 swings, 5 goblet squats, 5 push-ups, 15 swings, 4 goblet squats, 4 push-ups, 15 3-3, 15 2-2, 15 1-1. Right. Or the big kid version, 15 swings, 10 goblet squats, 15 swings, 10 goblet squats, 10 push-ups, 15 swings, 9-9, 8-8. So with the original version, that's 75 swings, 15 goblet squats, 15 push-ups, and that amped up version, 150 swings, 55 goblet squats, 55 push-ups. You don't need any more. Yeah,
you're going to be feeling.
That would then go do original strength or go, go for a walk. You're
right,
fine.
and I know, look, yes, doing goblet squats isn't the most impressive looking thing in the gym, but for most people, most of the time, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of it in terms of mobility, strength, and muscle building as well. The nice thing about the goblet squat is look, you can get a decently heavy sized bell, you can push the reps, and it makes you keep the tension on the entire time, right? You're wrestling that bell out in front of you. So even when you're at the top, you can't and shouldn't totally disengage, right? So the nice thing about the goblet squat is it keeps that tension locked in throughout the exercise. It's just it's a brilliant move, Dan. I'm super happy you invented it. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Right. Very good. So, gentle listeners, we'll take questions here in a couple minutes. But go ahead, Dan. Did you want to add something? No. I was just going to say, you just had the previous meet. Do you have any other competitions or anything else you're training for coming up, Dan? What's the next couple of
well, actually, I thought I would be breaking state records last Friday, and so, but the problem is between some of my problems. Gentle listener, I'm not going to tell you all. Oh, woe was me. This year we almost lost Leo, in a very difficult birth, which is tough for a grandfather to say.
To say the least, yeah. I
have an issue in my life that I'm not going to share yet, but I will. A couple weeks ago, this massive storm hit my house, caused thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage, and knocked down trees. And I've had to hire arborists and, roof leak and new garage doors. I had to get the gates fixed. Oh, sorry. And then, I get here, and the UK's COVID testing. It is a money making. It is a nice way for the UK to make money on tourists. God bless you.
Right.
But they also make it.
But I say, never let a good crisis go to waste.
And then, and that's just been very hard on me emotionally. And then I got very ill. My daughter Lindsay thinks that I'm not ill. She thinks it's my body rebelling against everything going on in my life.
Just all the stress, right? Which is not implausible.
I'm not going to say exactly who it was, but I talked last night about the influences of my coaches, and I woke up this morning, and one of the people I named specifically, his wife died last night, and I'm like, I know I'm overreacting, but when I got that piece of information, I sent the best advice I could to him. He's a very religious man, and he at our state weightlifting meet, he came aside and he said, Dan, can I talk to you about what the Catholic Church believes in the afterlife? And so we talked for a while, and I didn't realize that I didn't know why. I've discovered one thing in life, Patrick, is that when someone asks me about the afterlife or grieving, I don't ask questions. My job is to click on my minister hat and minister to what they tell me and how I can help. And so, perpetual life.
Dan John has always had a phenomenal skill for just listening to people, right?
Yeah, which people don't believe who just hear me on podcasts. So,
we bring you on here to talk. If you just listen the whole time, it might be a little bit stale.
So this morning, I had that, and then the nice thing was two of my students, Will and Andy, aren't able to make my 2-day workshop with my 2 days on kettlebells on whatever. Today's Tuesday, so Wednesday and Thursday, and so I gave it to them today. They so it reminded me of what we're here to do. Life goes on. Danny has eaten a poop sandwich for the last 2 years. One of my students came up to me. I told the students everything about my life, including what you know. And the student said, maybe you just should never come to St. Mary's. So I told them about how all the stuff that's going on in my life started when I got the note from my nephew, Brian, that my brother Phil had died. It was just like my brother Phil. I would never said this to his face, the bastard, but I keep wondering if he was a guardian angel in my life,
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So so when I lifted on the platform Friday, with diarrhea, with my heart broken, lack of sleep, I wasn't trying to show my students. My students said that I showed them that, this is what you do, man. You show up. And you show up. Yeah. And it wasn't my best. I could have done more, but hey, man,
But you were there. You were there, Dan. Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I snatched and clean and jerked and front squat. I'm averaging about 5 to 6 miles of walking a day. Today I did a whole long kettlebell hands-on. Tomorrow will be a whole long kettlebell. Thursday will be a whole long. Friday I'll probably get maybe a few snatches in tomorrow just to make sure I'm moving. Friday, I'm thinking about, I have nothing to do Friday, which is just a miracle.
Nice.
And I'll probably snatch, clean, and jerk. And maybe I might just walk over to Richmond, And if anyone is a UK listener and would like to spend any time on Saturday, just Sunday wandering around, I would love to go. I just love to go for a walk. So there you go.
He did a very nice comment here. Adrian says, blessings to you and your family, Dan. I'm sorry to hear that you've been having such a hard time. What an example you have set for your students. Of course, I'm going to echo those sentiments, and I'm sure many others as well.
Yeah. Keep showing up, man.
Keep showing up. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Can I talk about this new concept of the new quadrant I'm working on?
Let's talk about the new quadrant, then we'll take questions from the listeners. So send them in, my friends.
It can't be any simpler than this, but I've asked my students to think about it too. And gentle listener, I know we've done this before, but since you were talking about the Goblet Squat, It makes sense now historically that I invented the goblet squat because of the following. So in the quadrant, you have a push and pull at the top, and you have squat, hinge and squat, squat and hinge on the side.
Yeah.
So make a little box with four squares and push. So the poster child for push hinge combination is me. I could have out bench pressed probably everybody here at 16 years old. I press. I've been able to press my whole life. Hinge. I've only seriously deadlifted 3 times in my life. Now I've done thick bars for training and just easy and stuff like that. But I've only deadlifted seriously. The first time I ever deadlifted heavy was when I asked Dick how heavy 550 was. That was our gym record in the deadlift. He put 555 on. As I walked over, he told me I should flip my hands. I should flip my hand into a deadlift grip. So my first heavy deadlift ever was 555. Bob Rillo challenged me to deadlift 600 at Utah State maybe a year later. Nailed it. And then at the powerlifting meet I did, at 3 a.m, I had just asked the judge what was more than what the last guy took. And they went up one. I deadlifted it and said, "Good night, everybody. We're done."
Nice.
I thrive on the hinge and press. Having said that, I loathe the squat because I don't do it very well. And when you ask me about pull-ups, I always find another conversation to have. Right?
let's talk about something else. Yeah. No way. That's the bench press for me. As soon as there's a bench press, I slink. I do the slink off and go into a different.
Slide over, my friend Pavel. We were talking about this, and he says to him, he's a pull hinger.
Right.
And so it's interesting because his tactical strength challenge is pull up, deadlift for 3 or something like that, and kettlebell snatch.
Yeah.
Pull.
That's the way to do it, man. Just make challenges around your strengths, right?
Pull, hinge. And there's no press there. And it's like, dude, where's the press? If you watch the last Olympics, you'll see that most of the great Olympic lifters are born to squat and put weights overhead. And then I couldn't figure out, okay, what's a pull squatter? And then I'm watching the rock climbers at the Olympics, and I look over, and it's, by God, they are they're not running up the wall, they're squatting up the wall. Now, nurture or nature, I'm fine with that, by the way, folks. Did I get into being a discus thrower because God put me on the earth at this short height? And it's weird to think I'm short, right? When I tell people I'm short.
You are surprisingly tall in person.
Yeah, I'm surprisingly tall in person.
Surprisingly tall. Because I was surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not. I mean, you've mentioned that before, and it's always funny to hear that because I think of myself as a fire hydrant, and yet I'm Shrek in normal pictures, right? But I was short for a discus thrower. Was it nurture or nature that got me to be a hinger and be a pusher? I think hinging, yes, that's nature. I was born to be a hinger. Push might be because that's what is sexy. In the 60s, it was clean and press. The 70s, it was bench press. Never has pull-ups been sexy in my life until probably the advent of the RKC. But then when you think about it, who runs it? Who ran it? Was Pavel. And so all of a sudden we became pull-up.
Yeah. Hey, good for me. But pull-ups, they're my thing.
So real quick, gentle listener, if you don't mind, if you could share, if you think you're a push hinger, a push squatter, a pull hinger, or a pull squatter, if you think you know. Oh, and Dobra. It's good to always get the Polish in here. Dobra.
You know what's funny, Dan, is like I'm kind of mixed, right? So,
and that's fine.
In some pushes, I'm pretty savage. In other pushes, I'm an embarrassment. So dips, I'm really strong at dips, right? Bench press, barbell bench press. I just don't do it when there's people around, right?
I think the reason the dip is so marvelous for upper body work, and this is from the 1960s, is it's a whole upper body work. If you think just do this when you dip.
Yeah,
you're doing a pull-up. The dip is an extraordinary exercise because when you're here, if you think about what your lats are doing, getting there in the position, and now squeeze them under, you just did a.
Yeah.
So many people back in the 60s felt that the only upper body exercise worth doing was the dip.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. I know it doesn't work for everybody. Some people have shoulder issues with it, just like some people have shoulder issues with bench press or overhead press. But the dip has always felt really good for me and really strong for me. So I'm a big fan of the dip. Military press, I'm okay. Like if I work hard at it, I can get it up. Bench press just goes nowhere. Barbell, dumbbell, however, interestingly enough, feel decently strong with that. So it's like really just like exercise specific for me. But in general, I would say I'm probably more of a pull hinger than a push squatter.
And now one of the things that I want to make sure you understand, gentle listeners, is that that doesn't mean Dan John never should pull. In fact, what pulling and squatting will do, that will be so. If I was to start and sit down with little Danny John in 1970, I'd say, bro, you know all that, you know how you love these movements? Yeah, those are the movements going to put you over the top as an elite athlete. Those movements you hate, the squat, yes, yeah, coach. And the pull-up, yeah, coach. Those are the ones that are going to keep your body in tune. It's going to give you hypertrophy, and it's going to make you feel good.
Right.
So I was told years ago I should have never gone over 100 kilos in the squat for 10 reps. Just enjoyed the movement. And, of course, I squatted 605 for 3, hating every second of it. But it probably was the squats that were doing the damage. Hey, we're getting real quick. Thank you all for Jonas for your cappuccino and from Germany. We had someone earlier drinking something else, and I don't know how to scroll up. We got somebody. Thank you, Mark, from Vancouver. God bless you. Okay.
Yeah. Let me say one thing real quick. Comments help the algorithm, whatever that means. So if you have nothing else to say, let us know what you're drinking and comment for the algorithm. If you wouldn't mind.
Notice we have Adrian from Argentina. Don't cry for me, Adrian.
I like that.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. No one, really, nothing. We had a question too about what the hell is the 3-minute squat test. Okay.
Here, let me pull that one up.
Okay, really, real quick. Coach Dan, can't believe this is answering the question. It's 3-minute test. You start with a 24 if you're male, and you're going to be male. I'm not going to answer anymore. It's nice to have a normal clock. Every 30 seconds, you squat until you're finished. You start with the squat. So, okay, we're going to start going 3, 2, 1, squat, and then you sit at the bottom. Every 30 seconds, I say squat. You stand up, sit back down. Okay, that's it.
Perfect. All right, let's take a
Mary. So it's a 16 or 14. And anytime Margaret Mary or Mary Margaret asks a question, I by law have to answer it. Okay.
That's just the rules. Here we go. All right, let's take some questions now, gentle listeners. So send in whatever you have. Abhai, if I'm pronouncing that right, I'm almost certain I'm not.
Funny. I wish you would have been with us today at the PEC here at St. Mary's, because this is we probably spent 45 minutes today on the windmill.
Well, here's the question. The gentle listener wants to know: is there value in doing unloaded windmills, and how would you program it? Would you do it for reps, or would you hold for time? So yeah, give us all the need to know on the windmill, Dan.
Go to the YouTube channel of a guy named Dan John and type in windmill stick. And that's my, would you mind putting that in the show notes too?
Windmill stick, yeah.
I think there's 2 versions, one of me doing it in the snow and one me doing it in the gym. I
remember that one, yeah.
So yeah, okay, there's 2, Abhaya, there's 2 ways you can do it. Remember the goblet squat? It's probably the goblet squat's a great assessment. The windmill stick is a wonderful assessment. The goblet squat is a great flexibility and mobility tool. The windmill stick is a great flexibility and mobility tool. Little Danny thinks you should put it in that first period, whatever you want to call it, warm-ups. My students are always amazed when I poo-poo on warm-ups, and they're like, and then I tell them stories about being an athlete where I forgot this one. Count my change, international listeners, is an American phrase for you're not paying attention. I'm sitting there we're playing St. Ignatius, and I figure I'm not going to play because Tassa Sofia Tafiono is the coach. The coach loves Tassa Sofia Tafiono. Little Danny John will never play. And I'm sitting there, I'll work hard. Next year I'll come. And I hear this Danny John. And I walk over and I play the rest of the damn game. Every defensive snap. I'm warm. I'm out. My warm up was running on the field, baby. My best throw as a sophomore, I had no warm ups, and best throw. Life, man. Life ain't about. If you think warming up's important, and it is, I got bad news for you, because life doesn't always lie. When your kid pukes on your chest or is swimming in the ocean, and all of a sudden you don't see them anymore. If you need a 15-minute warm-up to get ready to save your daughter, you're too stupid to be a parent.
My old boxing coach used to say, "How you gonna get warmed up when you get punched in the face?" I didn't know how to respond to that. I still don't. Because try to stay as limber as you can, sir. That isn't to say don't do warm-ups. It's just
life doesn't always allow it, man.
It's just life comes at you sometimes in unexpected ways. Hopefully not as a punch in the face. Hopefully it's more just like, I gotta go pick up my kid from the ground.
So basically, to answer the question, I like it in that first period. I also would suggest that you do it by itself 1 day a week. Play with the windmills. When I teach the RKC2, we probably have a 45-minute mobility prep thing that we do, getting ready for it. I would share it with you, but no offense, gentle listeners, you guys would micro question it to death. And when I was young and good looking, I would answer every question. Now I'm a broken, old, nasty, mean, cruel man.
Grumpy old Dan. That's what life does to you. Steve George says, this is awesome information and incredibly private seeming with a number of people in the chat. That's good. We want this podcast to feel like they're just chilling with us at the Pope's Pub or wherever you're at, guys. So we appreciate that. Steve says, it's like going out of your way to find that one amazing expert that nobody knows about. Well, everybody knows about Dan, at least. He's a legendary strength coach, according to Men's Health magazine. So
I've had students find out after they left here I was famous.
It's true. That'll happen.
It's hilarious. You're at St. Mary's. I'll get an email about a week later and goes, and they don't. Then they don't, how I know it's a problem. They don't know what to call me, because they call me Dan here, and then it'll be like, Professor Mr. John.
Professor Mr. John.
Dan, can I call you? And then I'm weirdly famous. I know that, but it's only because, and it's only because I work. I try to be kind. Mm-hmm. So our friend from Argentina, the 6-minute test, another test that I like a lot. I'm going to give you my basic. I'm going to give you my 4 favorite tests to make sure you're good enough. Is that all right?
Yeah, we love to test to see if we are valuable.
I only do it for men. Okay, sorry. There's only the first 2. You'll just have to transition the last. But it's those push-ups where you come down, go to a T, bring your hands up, come back up. Okay, proper push. 24 in a minute. For pull-ups, hang for 30 seconds, 1 pull-up, hang again, pull-up 2, hang for 30 seconds, pull-up 3, hang for 30 seconds, pull-up 4. You've maxed out pull-ups.
So all consecutive. You got to hold on to the bar the entire time.
Go to the bar. The 6-minute Goblet Squat test with 24K for men, 16 and 12. And then the last one is interesting. On both sides, you do a Turkish Getup with a half a glass of a plastic glass, something that won't break, on your fist. They don't work. On your fist, this one might be dangerous because it's got hot coffee. And you do the whole Turkish Getup left and Turkish Getup right, like that. So it's 5 tests because there's a left and a right. And that just exposes any shoulders, any hip, any knee, any ankle issues, any T-spine issues, any issues. So those 5 are those 5, if you max out all 5 of those, then my thought is, I don't even know what the phrase would be. You're good to go.
No, I like that. So you're good to go, or you're good enough. Let me summarize again, just to make sure I have them all. So you have the full to the floor hands release push up. I think it's called, right? 24 in 1 minute. That's one test. We
Yeah.
have the pull-up test, which is
Four
pull-ups, but with a 30-second hang between each rep. That's correct, right?
before each hang.
Before each hang. A Turkish Getup with a Dixie cup of water, preferably not a hot coffee cup, where it's balancing on the knuckles, and you don't get to cheat with the thumb around. The thumb's got to stay tucked, right? Yeah, you can't.
That's how my girls did it at 1D.
Yeah, no, yeah, this ain't gonna cut it, friends, right? And that's gonna make sure that everything is aligned through the stanchion of your skeleton, both sides. The Goblet Squat, the 6 minute Goblet Squat, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm forgetting one. What was the last one?
Okay, push up, pull up, Goblet Squat, but remember, it's Turkish Getup left, Turkish Getup right.
Ah, there we go. Awesome, sweet. The Are You Good Enough, gentle listeners? Let us know if you can pass Dan's.
Yeah, and the thing about
Are You Good to Go test?
You can certainly do more than that. I mean, there's no Getup police gonna come charging on your door. But it's nice about.
But let's get to at least that is kind of what we're saying, right? Let's get to.
And once you're there and you say, I don't even know what that standard would be. One thing you probably have done, you've probably maxed out the kettlebell. I hate to say that, but it might be a good thing to come back to, do the 10,000 swing challenge and then come back, at the end of the 10,000 swing challenge, do that 5 test. If it improved, if you improved on all those tests, the challenge maybe might have been a good thing.
Yeah, sweet. Oliver says, what if you aren't good at any of the lifts? Can you have your own quadrant?
Yes, actually, we have a quadrant. It's called a quintet, and its name is Oliver Brickley. It's very hard to get in there, but your name is in there. Okay, I don't know. And here's the thing: most people I work with answer the question like, "Oh yeah." A whole bunch of people go, "Huh? Well, and then they have a story about an injury or a life change or a better coach that came along. And then there's a whole another group, not very big, that talk to me anyway, of like, huh? I don't know. And if you say I don't know, then your self-assessment skills need a little love. But Oliver, thank you. We call that quintet the OB. The OB.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's take one or two more here before we hear what's going on at Dan John University. Mark says, any thoughts on getting into rotational exercises with heavy clubs?
I'm not going to answer.
I don't use heavy clubs, so I can't really speak about this. But we did talk about rotational exercise, which a windmill is a rotational movement.
Well, the way I teach it is a lubrication movement, okay?
Oh, I like that, a lubrication movement.
And remember, on the windmill stick, I note all the time, but hinge, then turn.
Right,
hinge.
So it's hip flexion with T-spine rotation, right? Hip flexion. So you're not, importantly at the windmill, you're not doing, I guess I don't really do yoga, so I don't know if this is entirely accurate, but apparently there's the yoga windmill, which is really a side bend.
Yeah.
That's not what the kettlebell windmill is. The kettlebell windmill is hip flexion with thoracic rotation.
Yeah, and if you will, that's the one thing Joseph Pilates did a good job in. Okay.
Ooh, hard as a rock.
So the key, if you're doing any kind of side bend, is that you don't just turn over, you contract over. And my knock on most crap I see at least in the American yoga tradition, I can't really comment on others, is that it's not just you're lengthening here and contracting there, right. Which is why, and personally, that's why I don't do very much of it. And that's why I prefer the suitcase carry, because the gait, the stride gives you
to do what you're trying to do just automatically, right? And yeah, I'm not saying, by the way, just to be clear, I'm not saying that type of pattern is worthless. I think it has its place. It's just not the kettlebell windmill, right? It's just not the kettlebell windmill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's always. And I remember when I first got involved with kettlebells, and they would show all these exercises, and it was like, that's a train wreck. Yeah, that's just right. Oh, by the way, we just got the legend is from Colombia. You are more. Quadrant 2. Read my other work. I just wanted to say, I hope in Colombia you have good coffee. Let's go back to the one above, Aaron.
Aaron says, I am training a 60-year-old male client and recently taught him the swing. What is your advice for progressing in kettlebell size, and how much value is there in moving him up to a heavy bell?
I don't think there's any value. I mean, yeah, there's value. There's more load. Like I found, a set of 10 with the 48 kilo, which is huge, is a good training device. It's a good teaching moment, but it's not necessarily a good training moment. So it's going to have to be you're going to have to make this decision. Am I trying to make a point about his swing that needs work? But I would say, you do the swing was one time called a fat burning athlete builder. The person who said that, of course, obviously brilliant
and handsome.
Me. But so, with a 60-year-old and this young 60-year-old, you probably want to use the swing as a fat burning athlete builder, and you can play with load in other places. I'd say the 20 and the 24 is about where you need to be. But as a teaching tool, go heavier. But remember, you're using that teaching tool. You're using it as a teaching tool, not as I'm going to kick your ass with it tool.
Right. Excellent. Wow. Time always flies when you're having fun, Dan. What's coming down the pipeline at Dan John University?
I know we started early. I mean, we started early. Okay.
Yeah, we've been rocking for about an hour now. But if you have anything else you want to jam around about, I'm all down. But I want to make sure, as always, we get to hear what you're cooking up over at DJU.
Well, last night I had a nice conversation with Brian. Brian is jet lagging in Alaska right now with his family. He's doing well. And I gotta admit, I've had a lot of emotional nights here, and finding out about my friend's wife was one of it. Just hit me hard. A gentle listener, I'm fine. I am truly fine. I do hope I can make the funeral. To be honest with you, that would be something that I called Delta to see if I could change my flight to get home, but international flights with COVID and with Afghanistan, I mean, come on, it's
right. It's a mess. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the lady gave me a number of what it would cost to change, and I would much rather put their grandchildren through Harvard. It'd be cheaper. Yeah. So we talked, and it looks like we'll be doing, in just a few weeks, we'll be coming out with the advanced easy strength course. Awesome. And then what I'm going to work on almost the moment I get home is easy strength for fat loss as a free course for the members.
Awesome.
I mentioned that to you before. All I got to say is my former students are coming up to me and saying how much better I look, and how much, and I cannot believe how easy strength is. I might even call it easy fat loss. I mean, I know it's a bogus term, and it bothers me because it's a little bit of a swindler to it. It's a little bit of, but it's
a good name, and it's so true. What I love about easy strength is it's all about bringing down barriers to entry, getting stuff out of, William Zinsser had some of the best piece of writing advice that I think applies to fitness. He said in his book on writing well, he said, any piece of writing improves in direct ratio to the number of words you can leave out of it don't need to be there. Just say the same thing about an exercise program. Any exercise program improves in direct ratio to the number of exercises or complications or whatever that don't need to be there, right? Good programming is editing, just like good writing is editing, right? Getting back.
Like I think I told you when Henry David Thoreau wrote me that letter one time. And he gave me some advice. He said, simplify. Well, I wrote him back and said, you just need the one simplify.
Yeah. Good stuff, gentle listeners. Well, thank you as always for tuning in. Check out Dan John University. Always a pleasure, Dan. Thanks for taking us through the Goblet Squat here today. I feel like it's been a private masterclass. It's been awesome as always.
If you don't mind too, would you go, okay, let's, do you mind making this kind of a heavy YouTube? A couple. So I have a very, very funny video Larry posted, and it's the invention of the Gobble Squat. My daughters are probably, this is why you've known, this is probably 2001. So my daughters are like 11 and 9. It's ancient, and I pretend like I got stuck in the bottom of the Goblet Squat. and I put them, and I have a sword, and it's all this silly stuff. It's ancient, but it's funny.
I will track that down. Mm-hmm.
And I'll do my, if you can't find, I'll track too.
Yeah, if you can send it to me, I will pump it into the show notes over at chroniclesofstrength.com so people can head over there and watch all the videos that we talked about today. Especially if you're just listening and you haven't watched a stream, please head over to chroniclesofstrength.com for the show notes, and you'll see the visual aids, if you will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's good to see John Russin invent. John Russin is gonna tell us how to do it right.
He invented it now?
Yeah, well, he likes to. Okay, hold on. I'll be sending this to you. This is from 2011, but it's 10 years before this, and there's a few comments that are just question, if you don't mind. They must have erased some of the comments were like, is this crazy? This guy's an idiot. What is he? It's a freaking joke.
Yeah, I know YouTube's weird. They like mass erase comments all the time, because I know like many of my older videos had a ton of comments, and like most of them were pretty annoying. So I'm not like super butthurt that they're gone, but I do feel that it's weird that YouTube does that. I don't appreciate it. Anyway, speaking of comments, gentle listeners, please comment for the algorithm. It does help the videos. Tell us what your cat's name is or what you're drinking. I really don't care. Or send in questions for next time. In the meantime, we'll build out the show notes. And Dan John, I guess the next time we talk to you, you will be back in the States, correct?
Yeah, Murray, hopefully. I mean, if I'm not, then I'm going to be stressed out. And I sent you on our private chat that YouTube link, okay?
Beautiful. All right, Dan. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you next week. Fare thee well, everybody.
Mean a lot to me. Bye-bye.